Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Good morning, guys. Well, it's time for my Inmotion V12S range test. And first, a huge shout out to Inmotion for providing me this early access to the wheel so I can test it and have fun. And I've been doing both. So let's get some preliminaries out of the way. I always like to give you a little insight into the riding conditions. It's a nice June day in Southern California. Mild temperatures right now. Feels like it's I'm going to say lower 70s. I'll say about 73 degrees. It's supposed to be about maybe 80 degrees today. My riding weight today is 188 pounds. A little bit on the lighter side because I don't have some of my more extensive gear on for my longer rides that I do with bigger wheels. The air pressure in the tires is about 30 psi, which is what I like to use on most of my wheels. And I am, if you're not familiar with how I do my range tests, I have a pre-planned route that I do all my range tests. I've been doing it for years, the same river loop. And the length of the loop that I use varies depending on the wheel. So today, this is, it's a 1500 watt-hour wheel. So I'm using the shorter loop, but I can extend this to 100 miles or more if I need to. And as I'm doing lately on all my range tests, I no longer try and keep my speed to a specific number just because life is too short, and I've been doing this for 9 years, and I guess I'm kind of tired of riding at slower speeds. I'd rather just do these range tests and have fun while I'm doing them. So what I've been doing is the route's the same, but now I basically ride at a fun speed. I just have fun. I don't try to minimize my accelerations or braking. I don't go extremely fast, but it's a fun pace. It's a fun pace for me, and again, that will depend on the wheel. But like on the V12S, it'll probably be about 25 miles per hour on average. I would think that's probably the range I'll be going. Maybe a little faster. a little slower. We'll see, but you'll see all the numbers projected, and at the end I'll have a summary of the total ride and average speeds and all that good info. The last wheel that I did, this kind of a range test with this kind of a wheel, was the Begode C8. And I got basically about 30 miles on that wheel. 30 miles of no beeping, no low battery beeps. If I remember, the total mileage was 36 miles before I had to stop because of tilt back. So we'll see how that goes today. It'd be interesting to compare. Both wheels have about the same battery capacity. Now this does have a bigger, the 12S does have a bigger tire, so that might have an impact, and it might also have an impact on the speeds that I ride. I've been seeing that I tend to ride this wheel a little bit faster because it feels more, I don't know, it just naturally feels more stable, and that's because of the bigger tire. I forgot to mention that the voltage when I started riding today was, I think, 82.4 volts. This is an 84 volt wheel. I fully charged it last night with the stock charger, and it was left plugged in, so I unplugged it. And about an hour later this morning, after unplugging, I started riding. So wouldn't surprise me if the wheel does not get up to 84 volts on a charge. But like I said before, now I'm just not worrying about getting full charges anymore. It's just not worth the time fiddling with trying to get it to work. And at the end of the day, I don't think it affects anything really, your range much. Today, I'm not sure if it'll show up in the video, but I'm feeling a little wobbly today. You guys, I don't know if I'm the only one. Every once in a while, go for a ride, and I don't know, legs feel a little tired, and just get a little more wobbles than usual. Could be age. I'm fast approaching 65. Most of the time, you know, it doesn't feel that way, but you know, it just depends on riding I've been doing before, the previous days, or you know, whatever I'm doing in life. So every once in a while I'll get on the wheel and it feels a little wobbly. So it's not the wheel, if that's what you're saying. The wheel basically feels pretty good, like I was saying before. This is a 18-inch, the diameter of the wheel is 18 inches. So it's still, you know, it's not a, you know, big boy wheel, you know, with a 20-inch tire. So again, wheel size and tire size fundamentally affects the stability of your riding. You can compensate for it, but still, at the end of the day, tire size plays a big role in how stable a wheel will feel as you ride faster and faster. So right now I'm riding what would be considered the trail portion of this range test. Not really much of a trail, but it's dirt. It's a fun little walking path that I found. back to the main trail. I am most of this range test is performed on these bicycle trails which line all the rivers in Southern California. They're absolutely beautiful. Bicyclists use them, of course electric unicyclists, people walking. It's a fantastic resource. Just outside my, takes me about half a mile from my house to get to one of these, and from there I can ride about 100 miles with very little, just a few times having to get on a side street to continue. So it's a really nice, these quote rivers obviously are not the most attractive from a nature point of view, but for electric unicyclists it's nirvana. And by the way, these are actual rivers. Like this is called the Rio Hondo River, and it actually is a natural river, but they just covered it with cement. And this is all for flood control, because this whole region, Southern California, vast areas could be subject to horrendous flooding during the little bit of rainy season that does occur. So by encasing all the rivers in cement, they can really control that, and we no longer have any flooding. And of course they can build up houses and all the infrastructure, and we get these cool bicycle lanes as a result. So here is the display in bright sunlight. The wheel is not in shade right now, and it's about it's mid-morning, Southern California. Sun is up in the sky, and you can see how easy it is to read. So this display is I don't know, wow, I guess I'd probably have to say it's probably the best display I've ever experienced on an electric unicycle. Not only is it readable, but it's a touch screen, and it's got a lot of information available. So best in class EUC display. So when I look down, I'm usually seeing myself at 25 miles per hour on these longer stretches. Well, okay, now I'm doing 28, so yeah, this definitely feels easier for me. I'm definitely riding a little bit faster on this wheel than, for instance, the C8, which is the same wheel, same battery capacity, but of course this C8 does have a smaller tire, and so I would have predicted that I'd be riding this a little bit faster. This is the last diversion that I'm going to take off the river trail. It's a little park I always kind of ride through. Little loop. This wheel is very maneuverable. I would say very nimble. Slightly less nimble than the smaller wheels. And again, the pedals are a little on the higher side, which affects how you ride. You know, lower pedals, more stability. Lower pedals on a small wheel just makes it super nimble and super stable all together. Taller pedals on even a small wheel will affect your sense of stability. So again, every time I'm filming this wheel, I have to comment on its primary, really outstanding feature is the suspension. The suspension is the main selling point, in my opinion, of this wheel. It's just so buttery smooth. It soaks up the little stuff so much better than every other wheel I have. And I think I still have, unfortunately, I think I still have 20 wheels. I've sold a couple recently, but I have a lot of wheels to compare against. And this is just so nice. And by far, at this class of a wheel, there is no other EUC in this class, meaning a medium range wheel. Again, I'm predicting this is going to be about a 30-mile range wheel, you know, with a 1500 watt-hour battery. The Leaperchem wheels, obviously, they're kind of like the standard, I believe, that we compare other wheels to this in terms of the smooth operation of the suspension and maintenance-free aspect of it. And you know, Leaperchem has the current wheels you can buy, the Patent, the Lynx, and the L, and those are all much bigger wheels than this. If you want this kind of a smaller wheel, you might call it a commuter wheel. This is the best suspension. I'm really I'm really not exaggerating. It's you have to experience. I have found out since my first ride, it does have progressive coils, and that is a big part, I think, on why it feels so nice even on the big drops. Now, unlike the Librachem wheels, you cannot pick your coil weight. A Librachem generally has 3 classes of coils that you can pick from, depending on basically how heavy you are, right? Which is a nice option. You cannot choose different different suspensions based on your weight. Now again, I suspect this is going to feel great for anyone up into the 220, 230, and of course, if you weigh a lot more than that, I can't say right now how comfortable this will be. But if you're in a typical zone, 150 to 200 pounds, 220, I don't know, something like that, the suspension is just going to feel just so nice. I'm about 14 miles into the ride and 65% battery approximately based on the app and well, based on looking down at the wheel, the top display. So I'm going to continue on the river for a little bit until I get down to maybe 55% battery, and then I will turn around, come back, and continue the loop back towards my home. Well, that was a little scary. Boy. Well, like I said, my legs are just, they're feeling weak today for riding. Maybe it wasn't the best day to go for a range test. Back on the Rio Hondo. There's just a couple miles where I'm not sure what happens to it. The cement kind of disappears and the trail diverges away from the river for a little bit and then rejoins up here with fresh cement. So I'm about 60% battery now. So based on what I did on my previous, on the C8 range test, I don't think I'll be going as far. And again, I'm not sure how this wheel will behave as we get close to empty. Okay, time to turn around. As you can see, I'm at 55% battery. One thing I think I've noticed is about other Inmotion wheels. I might be confusing with other wheels, but the battery percentage doesn't really change much when you stop versus when you're riding, which I kind of like. In other words, I guess you'd say the voltage sag doesn't show up as much. But anyway, now of course you can see from the app display, hopefully I'm showing, it says I got 39 miles remaining. I don't know why they are so, it's not just Inmotion, they all just so overestimate what you can ride. And you'd think, you know, I mean, this is 2025. They're capable of writing software that can actually much better estimate your remaining mileage based on how you've been riding up to that point, right? So there's no way I got 39 more miles. I'm lucky if I got 30 miles total. Let's see. Actually, what is my my actual okay, so I'm at 18 miles. 18 miles, 55% battery. I'm going to get less. Of course, I'll get less. I anticipate getting less range on the bottom half of the battery. We'll see how it do. I do feel like I've been riding a bit faster than I was on like again the C8, which was a previous 1500 watt-hour wheel that I did a range test with. I think what I'll do is at the end, I'll probably, when I throw up the stats for this wheel, I'll throw up the stats for the C8 too, because that'll also show you the average riding speed for the ride, or average moving speed, which is important because there's typically you'll see two numbers. There's an average speed, and that's just pure time divided by distance. But if you were taking a 10-minute break, not moving, that affects your numbers quite dramatically. So the better one is average moving speed. So it's only being calculated while the wheel is in motion. So we're compared the two numbers. I'll guess that the speed for this wheel will be a bit higher than what I did on the C8, but we'll see. Some homeless encampments that we have to deal with in Southern California. I'm back on my main loop, heading towards, I'm doing a crossover to the San Gabriel River, where I'll be heading back towards home. About 23 miles into the ride, and 41% battery. Again, I like how the fact, like I stopped a second ago, it was 42%. I start riding, it's still basically about the same. Doesn't vary much between when you're stopping and moving. Yeah, so here I'm approaching the Whittier Narrows Dam. It's a flood control dam that you can see behind me, maybe. Just for a 100-year flood type situation. But yeah, normally this is all just like you see it, little bits of puddles here and there, but no real water. bonking a little curb. This is a heavier wheel for me, so it's not as easy for me to jump over curves, but bonking something like that's very easy to do with this wheel. I got a slow bicyclist in front of me. That guy was waving all over. It was almost impossible for me to pass. I'm at about 28.5 miles, and I just experienced my first low battery tilt back. I don't think I heard any beeps, but yeah, tilted back to keep me under 25 miles per hour, which I'm doing now, and I don't feel any tilt back. And it looks like that happened. Let's see, I'm looking at the display. When I dropped below 20%, that's when the tilt back started. All right, so it looks like 20% is where you're going to start getting speed limited. And I'm still, now it's beeping at me. It doesn't want me to go. I need to stay in the low 20s now. So 28 to 30 miles of fun range. Slightly less than the C8, but again, I'll be curious to see how when I look at the average moving speed between this and the C8 to see if I was moving faster. In many ways, in many ways, guys, from my experience of riding, I'm not exaggerating, probably 55 wheels. It's in that range over the many years. From my experience, the battery capacity is what determines your range. Not the wheel, not the motor capacity. It's basically watt hours of the battery. And then how you ride. So if you ride the same way on a multitude of different wheels, but with the same battery capacity, you're going to get about the same. So that's why I was anticipating about 30 miles on this wheel, based on the last 1500 watt hour wheel I did a range test on. I'm getting more tilt back. I'm at 11% battery. Dropped pretty quick in the last couple miles. It dropped, seems like it dropped 10% in, I don't know, maybe a mile. Pretty rapid. All right, so I think, and just so happens I'm at the off ramp to head home. We'll see what the total mileage will this wheel. The C8 again was 35 or so miles total before I had bad tilt back at all the time. This is definitely going to be less. Yeah, the display flashes red at 17 miles per hour right now. %9 battery. It's dropping fast. All right, I will get back to you when I'm on constant tilt back. Okay, I'm at severe tilt back, I can't ride. So the display on the wheel says I'm at 34 miles, and actually I'm at 31 miles, GPS miles. So it's typical, all the wheels are off there. And I'm at 4% battery. I provided this feedback to Inmotion in the past that, see, I can't ride. I'm gonna have to walk it a few blocks home. See if I can open this one-handed. So, yeah, I've provided feedback to Inmotion. Who knows if it'll ever really get changed, but if the battery is at 4%, I should be able to ride. All the wheels I have, you can actually ride the wheel at some level all the way down to zero, what they consider 0%. If I got 4% battery, that means I have 4% battery and I should be able to ride. Let me ride. You know, it's okay if you keep my speed to 5 miles per hour, but let me ride. I don't like to walk. But anyway, it looks like, so this is battery drops off pretty bad. I would say you better consider 20%. When you're at 20%, you have maybe 2 miles before you're walking like me. Whereas other wheels, you can still ride a fair amount at 20%. So that's definitely not a positive feature of this wheel. But let's see, so I was basically 28 miles of having fun. I was able to ride as long as you're above 20%. It doesn't really moderate your speed, you know, with tilt back. So that's good. All right, so I'm gonna call it 28 miles, but the total ride was just squeaked in at 31 miles. All right, guys, well, I got a couple more blocks to walk. I hope you found this video useful, maybe slightly entertaining, and until next time, safe riding on your V12S.